welcome back to Booktalks Podcast. This is Kayla.
And Marissa.
And this week we read The Catch by Amy Lea. So thank you, Berkeley Romance, for giving us both copies. We were so excited about this because it's kind of full circle since we interviewed Amy Lea for her debut novel
We did.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, I think.
I forgot we did that. Oh my gosh.
So full circle moment for Book Talks Podcast. They had actually, I think, asked us if we were open for interviews, and I originally said yes. And then I think I forgot to email them. I think like busy season came, and then I was like, oh, I still want that book though. And they had emailed again being like, if you want to finish copy, and I was like, well, of course.
Yeah.
So here we are with this book. I think I like this one the best out of all of them.
Really?
Yes. I don't know. It was making me like giggle. Like it was like kind of cute. I love the whole forced proximity trope.
Yes, of course.
Shove me in a house with a man that I hate, but not really hate, who's I'm sexually attracted to. Like I'm swooning. Like that is my trope. That and like the fake dating trope. I don't know.
I'm a big fan of the fake dating because like you know where it's gonna end. You know, like if you fake date someone, you are gonna fall for them. Theoretically.
You should try it.
I wish I could. I can't get anyone to real date me or fake date me, so striking out here.
No, the plan is to fake date to the real date. You can't do the other way around. You can't real date to fake date.
We're gonna go from real dating to fake dating to single.
I do kind of forget Crystal a little bit because it's been 2 years since we read her, and I do remember really liking her book as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't read X's and O, and I did like that book. That was my least favorite of the influencer trilogy that she had. I guess she would say. But no, I liked it a lot. What was your thoughts?
I liked it too. I think I liked Crystal's book better, but I don't remember it either. I just remember she was a gym influencer, and that's pretty much it. And there was the guy at the gym, and they had beef over some weights or something. I don't know. And then they made out, and it all worked out. But I think I liked that one better because I don't remember having any like issues with the book. Not that I had issues with this one. Like I had no issues with this one, but I think it could have been better. And I say that because I felt like there were some pieces missing as far as the travel influencer stuff went. There was hardly any stuff about her like building up the inn, marketing the inn they were staying in. Like I thought Lucy, the cousin, Evan's cousin, was like, you can help us make the inn more attractive on social media and get us a following. And so I thought that was going to be kind of part of it. And it was like mentioned at the end, but not really incorporated into the book. So just things like that, where I was like, I think Amy Lea could have done more with this one that I would have just liked and made it be more of a complete kind of story, like tying everything in.
You know what really bugged me and like a kind of a loose end that she left there? Like she canceled her week at the spa.
Mm-hmm.
Did she have to reimburse for her plane ticket?
I don't know. I thought that it was kind of weird too, and like kind of a bad look. Like no one's gonna want to work with you if you're just gonna cancel last minute after they confirmed twice.
Yeah, and like she got there.
Yeah.
Like they had met her and then sent her away. And she's like, just kidding, I'm canceling. But thanks for the flight. Met the cutest boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would you give up your whole life to move to Canada?
Oh, see, that's like I didn't have a problem with the way the book ended, but that is like a decision in books I don't like. I don't like when we've read another one where the female ends up giving up her life to go be with the guy. And like, I don't have a problem with that. I don't care. But for some reason, when I read about it in books, it makes me angry. And I really don't know why, because I'm absolutely the type of person who would just uproot my life and go to Nova Scotia and be like, I'm doing this for this guy I love. Like I would do that. But I don't know. It made me mad that he's like, well, I can't leave because I fish. I'm like, dude, there are fish elsewhere.
I think it happened in the Abby Jimenez book with the doctor.
Oh,
and she
yes.
To some town, and she was like the surgeon and like a very high up surgeon. I kind of get it in my current, like, I hate my career burnout,
Mhm.
I I 100% would move to Nova Scotia for a fisherman and, like, running in social media. Like, sign me up.
Definitely. I mean, aside from the smell of the fish, though, that's the only thing. A town that small that revolves around fishing, it's gonna stink. And your husband's gonna stink when he comes home from work. So,
Oh, 100%. Oh, he must reek.
yeah.
I did like how, he wasn't playing games in this book. I actually forgetting his first name because I'm the worst at book names 'cause I've been reading a lot lately. Like, whenever
Mhm.
I'm not working, I've just been reading. I was gonna say Evan. I like how Evan was very straightforward from the beginning. Like, there was a point where he, like, kinda hated her, but then there was a point where he was just like it came out they liked each other, and then he was like, "No more games. Like, no more
Mhm.
miscommunication." Like, he's like, "I like you. I want you here. Like, I'm not playing games." And
Yeah.
she was always like, "Well, I do, and I don't know what I'm doing," and she was, like, all over the place, but I liked how stern he was because, I feel like I'm in my head too much, so I need someone who's, like, stern with me as well, so I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I was a little annoyed that it was like an all or nothing thing that because I was like, why is it an all or nothing thing? Why is it she must move to Nova Scotia or we are never communicating again? I guess he didn't want to do long distance and she was just scared of commitment. And because I'm like, she got back to Boston and they literally didn't text at all. You just fell in love with this guy and now like because you're not moving your life there, you're just not gonna talk anymore. So I didn't like that because I felt like that's silly and not realistic. Like I would want to text the guy even if, wasn't moving there. Cause
I
then I
think
probably would move there.
part of me thinks you actually would ghost him, though, out of just,
Oh
like
yeah.
I 100% could see you doing that.
Definitely. I mean, like the way I just leave social media out of the blue and pretend like I died. Yes, absolutely. I would ghost him.
You should see what I've done with the Instagram. I've been posting every day. Uh,
Wow.
I have a new I draw on every photo now with my Kindle, so it's, like, all just, like, white writing and stuff, and I've been doing it for, like, a month now. I, like, schedule everything on Sunday. I don't post on the weekends. I take the weekends off, and it has been quite fun.
Wow. And you post daily other than the
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, so if you do come back on, you will see that we are still active.
Well, I knew we were still active because despite I still have the Instagram app on my phone. It's just hidden and I'm either logged out or maybe I just hid it. I don't know. But I get notifications all the time for Book Talks podcast of people commenting or like responding to Book Talks podcast. And I'm like, wow, Kayla's really like interacting with people on there. Like, I feel like I'm going to come back to 20,000 followers and be like, wow, we are so popular.
We're not there yet. We did take, like, a very long break,
Yes, we did.
but I'm trying to get back onto it because I was at the at the Sarah J. Maas book event, and I was, like, looking back at our old photos, and it was, like, kind of like a book journal for us, and I'm like, "I
Mhm.
remember when I read this for the first time," and I started getting really emotional, and I'm like, "I
Yeah.
wanna do that again." Like, I wanna, like, share what I'm reading at the same time. Like, I don't like, at this point, I don't really care about the followers as much. I just, like, wanna almost keep track of what I'm reading at when because Goodreads just, like, comes and goes, like, I don't know, photos I remember. Like, all
Yeah.
our beginning podcast photos when we're, like, holding books in front of our face, like, it's so
Yeah.
cute. It makes me sentimental, so
It's cute. I also like when we started that podcast, my parents' dog was a small puppy. And so every once in a while, a picture will pull up like on my phone of me posing with the puppy and a stack of books. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we've grown so much since then. You
I
know,
know,
I was just in my little bedroom.
I part of I never, like, will ever miss COVID, but I do miss how easy life was during COVID where we just, like, read books and stayed home all day.
I know. Yeah. Ah, that was such a sweet time. And we did take advantage of it. Like I got super into hula hooping. We did the TikTok dances. We started a
I
podcast.
forgot about the hula hoops.
Yes, yes. I still occasionally hula hoop, not as much now.
No, I feel like I fell in love with reading. I feel like actually reading The House of Flame and Shadows has brought that back, and I've been reading a lot lately and
Mhm.
enjoying it. I'm trying to go through all the books I own that I have not read before I buy new ones, and it's been very hard.
Yeah.
Um, but it's my mission this year. I want 0 TBR lists.
Yeah. So my goal this year was for any subscription book box, whether it's Book of the Month or Fairy Loot or whoever, whenever I get it. Like I read it the month I get it, which means I've skipped book of the month every month this year because I know I don't have time to read them. And I'm really sad because like this past month they had 2 books I wanted and I was going to just check them both out and like throw caution to the wind. Like I'll probably have time to read them. And I was like, no, March is our busiest. Like this is my busiest season for tax. Like I will not read these. So I skipped it. I did the mature thing, but it's been hard because like I really want to get books and I just know I don't have the time to read them all.
I'm just running out of space at this point. I did see the Ink in the Blood or whatever that book is.
Yes.
Everyone's been reading it. It's like
a purple cover.
I had like a girl who like kind of looks like this.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Something ink. I really wanted to buy it at Barnes & Noble because they have a really pretty. They have like silver pages.
Oh, I would have so gotten
it. Of control.
Yeah, I like. Yeah.
And then last week did not help, or 2 weeks ago when I went to the BookCon at Barnes & Noble, and I got like 30 like arcs. The thing about arcs is I don't love them on my bookshelf because it doesn't like look as nice with the covers. So I definitely, there's some that I want to read and I will read. I have given some to like friends that I know that like I won't read. So I do have some of that, but it was very exciting at the time. I was like, oh my God, free books. But I got them home and I'm like, I don't really like them on my bookshelf that much.
Yeah. I get frustrated with that with the ones we get from publishers or marketers or whoever, because like we have one, it's Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez that it's an arc. And so it's got like a white binding. And so it doesn't look right with the other books. And I'm like, I don't know where to put this. Like, it's one of my favorite books, like one of my favorite romances. I don't remember much about it, but I remember at the time being like, this is one of the best romances I've ever read. And I'm like, but I can't display it on my bookshelf.
I feel the same way. I had them kind of on the side. Like, I think if I do move and get more bookshelves, I'll put them on the bottom. But at this moment, I have them like in my closet, and then I end up going through my arcs. I'm like, okay, I don't need all my arcs that I ever gotten for the podcast. So I've been selling books on Bingo, and sometimes I just shove like that book about the cult leader. I just shoved in one of my Bingo orders, so they get like an extra book for free.
Nice, that's sweet.
Surprise!
You're like, I don't want this cursed cult book. Enjoy.
I hate that book. Okay, let's go back to this book because this is what this podcast is about.
I know. Well, did you get actually discussion questions at the back of the book?
Yes, that's why I love Berkeley books. I feel like they always have those, and those are my favorite.
Have you seen The Proposal or While You Were Sleeping, those rom-coms? Because I thought this book was a combination of those 2 movies.
I have seen The Proposal, but I don't remember it.
Okay.
I do remember the grandma dancing around the fire.
To the window, to the wall.
To the window, to the walls, to the walls, to the sweat drips down my balls. To all you bitches, crawl. All ski ski for the all ski ski go bam.
Well, that's Sandra Bullock, but yeah.
Hey, you scared now stop. Woo, now wiggle it. Now stop. Woo, jiggle it. Just jiggle it.
What you doing?
Wiggle it.
Core Memory, right?
Core Memory. Yep.
What was the other one?
While You Were Sleeping, also starring Sandra Bullock.
I had not seen that one.
So in that one, she's like in love with this guy from afar, and then he falls on a train track and she ends up rescuing him, saving his life, but he's in a coma. And to get in to be with him, she has to say she's his fiance. And then when his family shows up, she doesn't want to break their hearts because they're so sweet and like amazing, and she doesn't have a family of her own, so she pretends to be his fiance, and he stays in a coma. Though the difference between that and this book is he stays in a coma and then she actually falls in love with his brother. That's kind of the plot of While You Were Sleeping. So there's that one, and then The Proposal, which was where they fake get engaged in Canada, or no, in Alaska, which is a lot like Nova Scotia as far as like, I'm sure weather, it's cold and they're on the water, whatever. But anyway, so I was like, this book is like a 90s, early 2000s rom-com like that I grew up with. So I mean, I enjoyed it because I love both those movies so much.
That's a really good like advertisement tag.
Yeah. And I only gave it 4 stars, but I loved it.
They should be paying you for that, for those
Yeah.
relation. I didn't even
If
put
you
that.
like 90s or early 2000 rom-coms, you're gonna like The Catch.
Have you seen the new rom-com with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell?
I haven't because I feel like it got blown out of proportion.
No, it's so like 2000s rom-com vibes.
Really?
Like, especially when they sing like the Natasha Bedingfield song.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just so I went by myself actually because I joined AMC A-listers
Okay.
because I needed something after busy season, like just to like leave my apartment and go to a movie. Like, it just gets me out. So I've been going to see a lot of movies lately by myself, and I saw it by myself and I loved it. I wanted to go twice. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Wow.
probably my favorite movie I've seen in the past like 3 months, and I've seen like 6 movies.
Well, so like to me, Sydney Sweeney's gorgeous, but Glenn Powell does nothing for me, if I'm being honest. And he looks so much older than her. So like, I don't know. I just when I saw the previews, I was like, probably not for me. But I'm
No,
sure if
it's
I watched it, I'd love it.
it's like it's fake dating and hate to love.
Oh, I didn't know it was fake dating. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Okay, go back to the book. Back to the book.
Look.
Okay, should we go to first question? What
Yeah.
was your initial impression of Mel as a side character in the first 2 books in the series? And did you have certain assumptions about her that may have challenged or have been challenged upon reading The Catch?
Well, I gotta be honest, I don't remember Mel. The first book, and I didn't read the second book, so I don't really have any impressions of her as a side character. I only know her as the main character.
I was shocked of how little she let Crystal and Tara into her life in this book, because she seemed like she had more of a potent role in their lives in their books.
Okay.
And she seemed like a literal just like a work friend. Like,
Yes.
like they were like they had movie nights, and like that was like they didn't know anything about her. Like, when her brother was in need, like she was afraid to call them. Where like they made it sound like she was her best friend. She was their best friend. So
Yeah.
I feel like she was insecure in that way, but I was shocked of how little she relied on them.
Well, I thought the ending was weird when Tara asks her to be in her bridal party, and she's like, oh, "Wow, I am so like I will be your thank you so much. Like I didn't think you would ask." Like, and I was like, "Dude, you're one of her best friends. Why wouldn't you be in her bridal party?" Like, I thought her reaction to getting asked was a little weird. So yeah, maybe it was just insecurity. Like she didn't think as highly of herself in their trio as what she was. Like they view her as one of their best friends, and she's just like, these are people in my life who I work out with and hang out with, but like don't get close with.
Yeah. So that was my different impression there of her. How did Mel's upbringing and childhood affect her relationship with fashion?
I thought it was so interesting how she talked about like Mel's past and then brought it together, especially at the end. How, and this isn't entirely about fashion, but you know, Mel grew up kind of, I mean, poor. Like her mom abandoned them, her dad invested all the money in the wrong stuff, and like they didn't have money. She was taking care of her brother. And so she latched onto this vision for what her life would be. And like, I need to have a condo that looks a certain way. I need to dress nice so people don't make fun of me or whatever it is. Like I'm wearing thrifted clothes and people think, ooh, wow, she's being fashionable. And really she's just poor. And so she feels like she has to keep up this image. And especially at the end when she's talking about, you know, moving to Nova Scotia wasn't the image she had for her life, but like maybe that's okay. Maybe you're allowed to have different dreams and evolve and change over time. And, you know, the thing that got her out of that poverty and that life was like dreaming of something extravagant. And once she got there, she's like, yeah, this is all materialistic. And like, I kind of prefer having like just a family who loves me. And I realized like the importance of those things. So I thought like, yeah, her childhood was done really well as far as kind of driving her to where she was and then letting her come full circle and be like, you know, the things that ultimately matter to me are my brother, my friends, and now the Whalers.
Her character development was really good in this book. I feel like you saw her growth within the book, and it for a rom-com, like you rarely see like that much character development. So I feel like she did a really good job with that.
Yeah, I agree.
I do think her brother was like a little like I can't believe he just ghosted her for like
Yeah.
4 days, and he knew how like nervous she got. Like that was kind of like a jerk move.
Well, and acting like it's not a big deal that he ghosted her because look, Mel, I'm fine now. Like I've been putting in the work. And it's like, if you've ever lived with someone who has had an episode, you are never going to feel fully safe, like not hearing from them or whatever, because like when someone has depression or whatever, they can relapse at any time. I mean, it's the same way, like I talk about, I don't know why I talk about this all the time, but I do, like drunk or alcoholics, whether they're sober or not, they still live with alcoholism as a disease. So like, just because you're putting in the work and feeling better and taking your meds or whatever, you at any time could like relapse or fall off the wagon or whatever. And so the fact that he's like, Mel, I'm fine now. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't have to check in with you. I just thought that was a little unfair of him, considering what she's gone through to help him.
Yeah, like she pretty much would give him the shirt off her own back, and she's like there for him 100%. Like gave up like pretty much love life for him.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm just gonna go with my girlfriend. Like I'm good.
Who I feel like he knew as long as she knew Evan. Like, I don't know like where this girlfriend came from, but Mel was gone for 2 weeks and she comes back and he's like, I'm moving in with my girlfriend. Peace. What girlfriend?
Craziness.
Yeah.
I think I did like the fake fiance part. I was cringing when she did it because I just can't imagine like lying to like that extreme. I'm such a bad liar, but I did like that like plot point. I feel like the faking around, I don't know how her family didn't see that it was fake or his family, because it sounded like they like their first kisses were like bad. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, which it's like Lucy was like, you guys got to step it up if you're going to convince them. And I'm like, I feel like with all the chemistry they had, they shouldn't have been having bad initial kisses.
I think the scene that I really enjoyed was the lighthouse scene when they're both at the lighthouse. I like literally like giggled like when that happened.
I hate that the scene ended there because I feel like I need to know how Evan ever looks Lucy in the eye again.
This is true.
Like, where do you go from there with your cousin?
I would
never.
I think I would just jump off the lighthouse.
The other reason I would jump off the lighthouse is if I fell in the tub and my fake fiance caught me and I'm sprawled out naked in his arms. Yeah, that's another reason I would go to the top of the lighthouse.
Yeah. I mean, I would do the same if I saw all these bugs in my kitchen, in my bathroom. I would lose my mind. The fact that they were naming them was insane. And then when she got poison ivy.
Oh my gosh. I was so funny that he was like, I forget what he said, but like, she was like, I'm ruining this. And he's like, what do you mean you're ruining this? And she's like, I bet you didn't think you'd be here with a girl who'd rub poison ivy on her, And I was like, honestly, that was probably one of the most real camping experiences I've ever read in a book.
Oh, I would be so mortified though if I were her.
I don't know how she was ever comfortable enough to let him look. Him being like, let me look to see how bad it is, I would suffer. I'd be like, no, I would gladly suffer here all night. You are not looking. Absolutely not.
I don't know what I would do in the situation, but I would be mortified.
Yeah. Yeah, she had a lot of mortifying moments, actually. I didn't really realize that till we were talking about it.
This book makes me question, could I live in a small town? And I think I debate this a lot lately because I am considering leaving this great city of New York City, and
Oh.
the more I like the more I plan to leave, the more I want to stay.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel like, can I live in a small town? But I do feel like, I don't know, there's just like that charm with a small town that everyone knows each other and like they all gather at the local watering hole, and it's just like a charm that you can't find anywhere else. And that is a desire. I want to open a bookstore in a small, very small, little picturesque town.
Yeah. The only reason I'm opposed to it is because everyone knows when something happens to you or whatever. Like there are no secrets. And I just remember, the stress I felt in high school of, oh, what if my crush finds out I like him? And I mean, that was high school. I'm a mature adult. I'm a mature adult now. But like, what if you did have a crush on one of the 4 guys in your town and they found out? I don't know.
I thought she was setting up the next book to be like Lucy and his friend, but then she ended it with him dating some other girl.
I know. I kind of was hoping for a Lucy book, but yeah, it ended with Kyle having some girl from Toronto.
Yeah. Well, I give this book like a 4.5. It was a good romance. I haven't physically read a romance in a while, and I forgot. I've been listening to a lot of them, or been reading fantasy, so I kind of forgot how just like nice it is to read an easy romance. So I enjoyed it, and I think that's probably why I gave it a 4.5.
Yeah, I'd give it probably the same, maybe like a 4.3, just because, like I said, I feel like she could have done more with it. There was nothing in it that I didn't like. I just felt like there was more potential that she could have capitalized on. But I like her books. I think they're solid. I sped read this. Like I couldn't really put it down. So like maybe it deserves higher than a 4.3, but I don't know. I didn't have to take breaks. A lot of times I have to take breaks when reading, and I didn't have to take breaks with this.
I think it flowed really well. I agree. I read it really fast. Like once I got to like the last third, I couldn't put it down. Like I had to finish it. I had to know what happened. So
yeah.
No, I really liked it. I like her as an author for sure.
Are you sad the influencer series is over?
I'm curious of where she's gonna go next. What is her next series gonna be? I don't think it's the end for her for sure, but I don't know what angle she'll go to next because she hasn't set up another character or any characters to like spin off from here.
Yeah, so it could just be someone brand new,
which I'm intrigued by. Because a lot of authors like will set up a new series. Like Lauren Asher does it a lot, where like she'll introduce a nice like broody guy at the end. You're like, oh, okay, that's the next love interest.
Gives you something to look forward to.
So I'm curious. I think she's a good author. So she's like an auto-buy author at this point for me. Well,
I'm genuinely shocked she only has 3 books. I feel like she's been published for forever now.
She had a young adult book she published, but I did not get that one.
Okay.
But I guess on her, like whenever she posts about her books, it's on there.
Okay.
I don't even know what it's about. But yeah, I think that's about it. So I guess we can wrap it up. So thanks for listening. This is Kayla.
And Marissa.
And have a good night. And make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Booktalks Podcast and subscribe to us on YouTube.